Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel about cross stitch. Every once in a while, there's some other crafty stuff, and of course, a little tiny bit of life stuff. But for the most part, it is cross stitch. If you are new, I want to say thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a chance. This past week, I picked up quite a few new subscribers, and I want to just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. And for all of my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back each week and encouraging me and giving me great feedback and just being my stitchy friends. It just means the world to me. So thank you so much. All right, let's get going. Tiny life stuff at the beginning. You know, usually I keep most of it at the end, but today is my anniversary. So I just thought I would say happy 21st anniversary to me. So 21 years ago today, it was a little bit of a rainy morning, and then it turned into a beautiful autumn September day, and we had a beautiful day. Of course, and I laugh because, excuse me, you can see the allergies really kick in for me a lot heavy into September. And every year I'm always like, why did I get married in September? I think that day I actually had to take some allergy stuff because it was getting to me. So I kind of laugh about that, but I guess it's just a nice reminder every year of the day as I get my tickled throat through the day. But I actually have a couple of pictures I wanted to show you. Now, don't forget, this was back before digital pictures, and you know, you've got the heavy albums and regular pictures, and nothing is digital. So this is my official wedding picture, and that is me, obviously my husband Mo. And you're not gonna be able to tell with the flowers, but with my start yesterday, the flowers have a special meaning. But that was us 21 years ago. And then one of my favorite pictures in this album was at the reception. So we were having our first dance, Go Elvis, and it was getting near the end of the song, and he's like, I'm gonna dip you. I'm like, don't you dare dip me. And we had not practiced this. This was just surprising me off the cuff in the middle of the dance while everybody else is watching. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, don't you dare do it. 'Cause I'm not exactly graceful, so I could just see myself sprawling. Well, the end of the song happened, and he did it. Oops, he did it anyway. So he dipped me at the end of the song. Luckily, I did not fall. Or he didn't drop me, and all was well. And now it's one of my favorite memories, but I was getting ready to kill him in the middle of the dance when he said he was gonna do that. So anyway, that's my sharing of you, my special day today. He did take the day off, although he is doing a little bit of work. I said, well, do it while I'm taping, so this way we can enjoy part of the day. It's beautiful here today. We may head out to Elizabeth Park and just kind of hang out a little bit there. And then, of course, adulting, right? There's always some errands to do and things to do and all that kind of stuff. So that'll happen too. So that's it. All right, so the rest of the life stuff I'll leave to the end. Thank you so much if you listen to that part and just enjoy my celebration of the day today. I do have a finish, and you kind of knew it was coming. Jolly Saint Nick and Rudolph by Stitching with the Housewives. And I am stitched it on 18 count April Showers by Bestitchme. And there we have it. So cute. I love it on the blue. The only thing that you will see, I didn't fill in, there it says, what does it say? Jolly. Because this is on Ada, obviously trying to do some of that writing. It can be done. I'm just not sure I want the angst of it. So I talked about that last week. I'm either going to do a charm or keep it blank. We'll see. I'll keep my eyes open and see if I see anything. Now, this gives me a chance to talk finishing. You noticed I don't really FFO a lot of stuff. I haven't gotten to it a lot, partly because I have not been out shopping for things since March, and some of it I'm not exactly sure how I want to finish. And sometimes things happen for a reason. A lot of these seasonal items, I really wanted to do the whole idea of pick some standard pieces and attach things on and off with magnets. Well, we just recently found out that a close family member is going to need a pacemaker, and those magnets, that is bad news with the pacemakers. So I'm actually very grateful that I haven't finished a lot of these things already with the washers and magnets, because I need to come up with another solution. I know, I meant to grab it, but I've done a few just on one layer of sticky board, one layer of fabric, and you know, I kind of just tilt them up against something, which is fine, works for me, but you can only tilt so many things against so many things, and you know I don't sew, so that always puts some things out the window a little bit. So I need some other suggestions. If I wanted to interchange, I'm not sure, Velcro to me feels like, especially with a couple layers of sticky board and other materials, Velcro would feel like it wouldn't be strong enough to stay, you know, and I know, because I've done other things with Velcro, very light things. I did an advent calendar, a fun, like, you know, one when the kids were little, and these little pieces would come on and off with the Velcro, and the Velcro starts to lose its stickiness, its oomph. So each year the things droop a little bit more. So I don't necessarily like that idea, or if there's a better type, I guess I shouldn't say I don't like it. What I am aware of with Velcro wouldn't work for my ideas. I don't know if there's some sort of hook and eye type of thing. Obviously, if I do something, if something was on a wreath or whatever, you could kind of tie it or whatever. So if you have any suggestions for seasonal things that I want to switch out on maybe a few base pieces, and I cannot use the magnets, and if anybody hadn't realized, those magnets, I don't even know the name, the word, I can't say it. What they do with pacemakers and other internal devices, I guess, is it can throw off the heartbeat and the rhythm. So obviously somebody would get ill if they go anywhere near, if they have that. And I think there was a couple other internal devices that can be thrown off by them. So I am obviously not doing that. So I need any brainstorm ideas from you guys, if you have anything. And I'm not giving up. Obviously some stuff I can frame, especially if it's on a pedestal-y type thing, and a few other types of things. So we can get creative. I can get creative if I'll ever start finishing. But if you have some surefire ideas or things that you can think of, I would love to hear them. And links, pictures, whatever. If you've done stuff on your Instagram and you want to say, hey, check out my picture on blah, 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 that'd be great. I would really appreciate that. All right, so that's my finish. I have some whips, and I do have a new start this week. I know you're shocked, right? So the first one I'm going to show you is the Halloween calendar from Tiny Modernist. And until this is done, I'll have no idea how I'm finishing it. The two front runners are a little Halloween tree or some sort of banner, both of which wouldn't need magnets. So I know there are ways to do these things, but the bigger pieces are what I'm certainly not sure about. So this set here, these first four were done on 18 count Haunting by Fabrics by Stephanie. That's the four that I just did, and last week I finished up day number 10. So the first four that I've done are done. I'm switching between 3 different fabric colors, and so I figured I would do a few and then go on to the next fabric color. So that's what I did this week. This fabric is Midnight Tryst, also by Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is going back to day 2. I was a bit concerned about the purple and how it would show up on this blue, but in person, you can see it fine. Now, some of the other days that are listed for this color are the darker purple. You see in the house there's the light and the dark purple. So I will see if the dark purple, it should show up, but if for some reason it's giving me trouble, I'll just fudge around the colors of what goes where, because you see the different numbers kind of repeat in the different colors. So I'll figure it out. So that's the first one, and these are cute. These are fun to do. They're each like a little start and finish for me, because I'm not, even if you were doing the calendar as is, it's like a little start and finish. So that's the first one. Second, we have Let's Talk Autumn by Hands On Design. I know a lot of you have stitched it or are stitching it, and I love seeing everybody's results. Now, you know I couldn't, I can't tell if I'm holding it, there we go, because the picture itself is slightly off. You know, I couldn't do it on the black fabric because, you know, that would make things too easy. So let me push this in a bit. This is done on 18 count Autumn Sunrise by Hand Dyed Happiness. All right, first off, look at this gorgeous piece of fabric. Love it. And this is where I am so far. The white is showing up fantastic on this. I actually would have been farther, except I have a leaf dilemma. So I was coming over to the side and I was working on the leaf, and I first tried, I wasn't really thrilled with, on this fabric, I wasn't sure about the called for color. So I tried a different color that I thought would look good. I halfway stitched the leaf. I was like, oh, nope, don't like it. And so I said, maybe if I put one strand of that and one strand of the called for, I put that in. So I put that in on the other side. I didn't like that either. And I don't know if it's just how the leaf, it was showing up on the fabric, or if it's the color I chose. So when I went down here, I chose a third different type of green, which is nice on this fabric. So I may try one more time to stitch the green leaves in that color. And if I don't like it, I might just nix the leaves and nix that side. And down here, maybe do another pumpkin instead of the leaves. So we'll see. If I can, I think the leaves are cute. And you know, you've got the word fallen leaves. So if it works, then I would love to go with that. But so far, it's, every time I've done it, I'm kind of looking at it like, But yeah, that's where we are. This is a fun stitch. I'm enjoying it. I like doing the white on this color because it just looks so pretty. Just looking at this fabric just makes me smile. So I always enjoy bringing that one out. Yesterday I had to do a little bit of car stitching, and this one was perfect because I said I'm just going to bring the, I think it's 3865 is the white I'm using. I said I'm just going to bring that and the pattern, and I remembered my needle and my scissors so I could do a little bit, and it was just easy not having to change colors or anything like that. All right, the next one. This has been my weekend stitch. I am loving this for my weekend stitch. This is Nantucket Trio from Hemlock and Rye. And that is what the three look like. I am currently working on this one. And it'll be this one, then this one in a row. This is part of a sal that Deborah jumped in with me. Sand and Ocean Girl or Sand and Ocean? Sand and Ocean. If you go to the hashtag Nantucket Trio Sal, you will see her stuff. And she came up with a brilliant idea of connecting the three houses along the fencing, which I immediately said, can I do that too? And so she'll probably get to it first. She's a faster stitcher of this with me. Deborah's looking fantastic with her piece. So check out that hashtag Nantucket Trio Sal. And I know some of you have said you're inspired to stitch it. Jump on in too. But this is where we are. This is actually on Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie, 18 count. So this is the piece that will eventually be, but that's what we have so far. Every time I show this to you, I have to gush. I love, love, love this pattern. It is, every time I stitch it, I just am so appreciative of how well she charted it. And she charted it for mostly DMC, a few fancy flosses, but she also gave that 2-strand blend equivalent that you could do for DMC, which is what I'm doing. Mine looks a little bit different than the picture, and I'm absolutely fine with it. And I don't know, Deborah, did you do a blend? Hers looks a little different than mine, but again, too, each one could be slightly different, and that's the fun part of it. But it was so thoughtful to be able to do that for those of us who maybe are not using fancy floss. So I love it. I'm probably going to work top down and then finish over here because I do have to change. I think I have to bring on this house the slat of the gate up 1, and that way it will completely match with the next house. And then I think it works fine at the third house too. So I figured I'll do everything else before I make any mistakes. and ruin that part. And then I don't have much to pick out because if everything else is in, then that's the last thing I've done. So this weekend, I don't know if I'll get to that, but hopefully I can get a good chunk over here. I take it out on Saturday and I enjoy it so much I just keep doing it on Sunday. So that is Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, Nantucket Trio. Or Christmas, what's she calling it? Christmas and Nantucket Trio is her pattern name. And then we're just calling it Nantucket Trio Sal. So that's the third whip. I've got one more to show you. Since I finished Jolly St. Nick, I wanted to pull out another Christmas whip that I'd had from earlier in the year. And this one is larger, but of the larger ones, I think it's doable as a finish for this year. So it's the Silver Creek Samplers, my Christmas list. And I am now, so of the pattern, I am down here. So it's definitely doable as a finish. And that's the last section. This is done on 18 count Seaglass from Bestitchme. This is it from a distance. I love this color fabric. Originally, this was a win at Friday Night Fight Nights that Brandy had, which she does have tonight. So, you know, I might have to do a little bit of anniversary shopping. So watch out for those of you who are looking for 18 count Ada. I'm just kidding. I usually limit myself to a couple because I feel bad if I take too many. And this is up close. Look at the color of this fabric. A few different places I did have to change a few colors of floss because the greens were a little bit too close. Most notably, I think, in the sweater. But you know, there's lots of color choices, and so I just kind of went off variations of the colors already. And that's where I am right now. This week I should say, I worked on finishing the gingerbread, so they're all done. I think I only had one done. I got the stockings in and I got the words in. I had a little moment of, oh no, when I realized that the floss for the blue words are more prevalent, I think. And that floss was almost gone. Luckily, I checked my stash and I do have another one, so I don't have to worry about running out and buying a new floss there. Otherwise, I think I'll be fine. So that's the little bit of fabric I have left, but given the amount of pattern I have left, I think it should be fine. So that's where we are. Super love it. Super intimidated to finish it however I do it because it's going to be long. So I have no idea what or how I'm going to do it. Hopefully I gave myself... I should have given that's probably plenty of a border. If I knew how to sew, I'd think about maybe like a wall hanging of sorts, but I don't know. So we'll see. But pull this one out. If you've been stitching on it, pull it out. It's so much fun. So much fun. And if you've thought about it, but you weren't sure, experiment with colors of the fabric. I know a lot of people are looking at Priscilla's from Priscilla and Chelsea and going by her color. Hers is more of a bluish, and then I think she coffee tea dyed it. Mine is a little bit more on the green spectrum, but depending on what you like. I've also seen some beautiful ones on the neutral colors. The pattern itself is done on a neutral, and I've seen some finished that look gorgeous because the colors just look fantastic on it. So play around. I am all about fabric and colors now. And so far, I'm pretty sure, well, Christmas stuff gives you a little leeway, like if it doesn't match your decor, because it's, you know, or Halloween stuff, you know, I mean, the holiday stuff usually gives you a little bit of leeway if it's not completely matchy. So I say go for it with some crazy colors. And those are all my whips, my works in progress, if you are new. And now I have one start. And I ended up saving this for yesterday because this was in honor of my anniversary, so I started it. This one is called Bells of Ireland by Nora Corbett. And these flowers are Bells of Ireland. And they were in my wedding bouquet. When I looked at the pictures, I tried to see if there was a way that you could see close up, but obviously all the other flowers were kind of showed up a bit more. But throughout the bouquet, I did have Bells of Ireland. So I figured that was a perfect choice to start the day before my anniversary. So that's what I did. Now, you guys are gonna be my line of support. What is it? In the Millionaire Show, phone a friend. I'm gonna have to phone a friend about. I've never done beads before, and when I looked at the pattern, so you know you've got all the colors. I'm doing all the stitching, and then where there's a bead, it's whatever symbol for whatever bead. Do I keep that completely unstitched and then just put a bead on it? Do I stitch something there first and then put a bead? That is my first question, and that's the first problem I'll get to. I mean, I started up here, which doesn't have, but then definitely throughout her dress, and as you come down, there's beads. So I need my experts, my beading experts, to help me out there. So the start I have, this is on 18 count beach glass by Vintage Needlearts. It's gonna show up white, I guarantee, on this picture, potentially. It's a very, very pale green, which I think is perfect to show off these colors. And that's what I've got so far. That's my start. Now, you know, I have raised 2 children. Well, am raising 2 children, I should say. I mean, they're not, and we've been through the whole, you know, follow your directions lessons through kindergarten and up, well, probably preschool and up. And I didn't pay attention. And so the symbol for, say, this peachy one and then this really pale pinky, they're the same symbol, just in a different direction. Kind of like the greater than, lesser than symbols. And I didn't pay attention to that. And I just saw the overall symbol. And I had done some of the peachy. And I was like, oh, same color. I had stitched almost all. Oh, it would help if I held it the right way. I had stitched almost all of this part when I realized it was the wrong color. So I had to pull it all out and restitch it. So again, it's been a kind of a frogging sort of week. This one, the other one was because of colors. This one was because I was just not paying attention. Okay, now I'm holding it the correct direction so you can actually see the wing as it's supposed to be. So pretty. And that's the piece. And that's what we got so far. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm enjoying so far the stitching part of the Nora Corbett. It's my first one. Yeah, there's one little section missing in the for color in the wing because I guess I couldn't get that color. For some reason I didn't have it. So that is one that I think I'm gonna have to maybe place a little order, because I think there was a few that when I tried to place them at Nora at Michael's, it didn't come up as an option. So maybe that's a 1, 2, 3 stitch thing. We'll see. So that's my start. I don't know, because of my plans for October, I don't know how many of my current whips. Probably do want to keep the Christmas one going. I don't know how many of the current whips I will keep up with. I guess it depends on how many starts I have. We'll see. I don't know. It's not October yet, so I have some time. So my plans are to go all out for October because it's my birthday. October 23rd. So ironically, my anniversary, my birthday, and Christmas are always on the same day. So I can tell you right now, Christmas is going to be a Friday because my anniversary and my birthday are both on Fridays. So if you were wondering, that's what the schedule is going to look like. So unless I am traveling to or from Delaware at the time, I am hoping that I will be able to videotape on my birthday and celebrate with you guys completely. But because this is my first time being part of a stitching community and just getting back to stitching, I had only been back a month or 2 last year for my birthday, and I didn't know a thing about Flosstube. I wanted to go all out and celebrate. So I am hosting the hashtag pumpkinbirthdaysal. So basically stitch on anything pumpkin in October and hashtag it pumpkinbirthdaysal. And I would love to see it. It doesn't have to be Halloween. It can be Halloween. It can be Thanksgiving. It can be autumn. It could just be a pumpkin. It's fine. Whatever you want. It could be pumpkin colored fabric if you'd like. I'm just so excited to be able to celebrate. Well, I would be at any year. This year especially, feeling more isolated. I really feel like I have stitchy friends and a community through Flosstube, and I'd really like to share my birthday with you all this year. The other thing I'd like to do is, we know that small businesses are struggling during this pandemic, and there is a group of incredibly talented Connecticut artisans and crafters and artists in that I am a part of, and many of them made their money through craft fairs, which didn't happen this year. So I'm going to try to highlight some local artists and some things that they do and make. And hey, maybe if you see something, feel free to help support a small business, because this year has been tough all around for the small business community. And we want the small businesses to thrive, to stay, and to be a part of our community for many, many years. And I mean big community, not just cross-stitch community, which I love supporting the small cross-stitch people, but I want to make it a little bit more of a wider, that small business. There's a meme that talks about when you buy from a small business, the person actually does a little happy dance. And it's kind of true. I know that I love when I get sales, and it never grows old. So it does mean something to the small business person. One of the patterns that I think I'm going to start with is this pumpkin owl. But I have like 8 or 10 that I'm kind of rotating through. I think what it's going to come down to is if I can find the fabric I like for each of them. I am 80% sure of the fabric on this, but I'm going to do a floss toss on it, and I will see. So this on October 1st may be my start, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And October 1st, I think, is that a Thursday? How perfect, because that seems to be my starting day. I think I'm going to have more starting days than just Thursdays this month, though, coming up. So that's the birthday stitch-along celebration that I'd like to host, and I hope you will join me. I've been so excited to hear of those of you who are getting things ready for it, or have ideas for it, or want to be a part of it, and I'm just so grateful, and thank you. Thank you for being a part of my stitching life, and life in general. It just really means a lot. All right, I don't have a lot of shopping. I have a little bit of shopping, but not a lot. This first one is from By the Bay Needlearts, and it's called The Nubble. And it's an actual picture, so I do my best not to get a glare. I can't even tell you how many times in the course of my summers as my children grew up, 8 to 10 of those summers we spent in Maine. Well, not the summer, but our vacation time in Maine, and we would stay in Ogunquit. And one of the things that we would do every year was either once or twice during that week is we would go to Nubble Lighthouse in York. And the kids loved climbing the rocks, and I think one year they might have brought fishing poles, because there's a section on the other side where people fish, and, trying to teach my son to fish at the time. And it's just the sheer number of memories from Nubble, I can't even tell you. And I know Megan has said to this day, I've heard her say, when I have kids, I want to take them up to Ogunquit for vacation, because she's got such great memories. So what's funny is I'm literally looking in the kitchen. I have a black and white picture that I took of Nubble. Well, I print. It's a picture I took of Nubble, and then it's this exact scene. And I had it printed in black and white because you can see our walls are kind of that bluish grayish, and it's hanging up in our kitchen. So this is an iconic picture and symbol for us as a family. So when I saw that, I wanted to stitch it. And I've never done anything by the Bay Needle Art, so I'm excited to give a different designer a try. This other piece of shopping was actually a back order. This was from an order that I had done from Fabrics by Stephanie, and there had been an issue with this color. So she said, is it all right if I send it later? I said, sure, no problem. It was a nice little gift that had long since been paid for. And this one is called Ice Crystals, and it's an 18 count. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. I could see everything winter on this. The only thing I want to check is how the white floss will show up, because there's always snow that we have to stitch when we have winter pieces. And so if snow shows up or the white shows up on this, then I'm buying, I don't even know how big a piece of this I'm buying, and everything, winter is gonna start going on this. I love it, I love it. If the colors show up good, then this may be the new choice for Brooks Books, those ornaments. Because no, I haven't started them yet, because no, I keep talking about in my mind what fabric I want. I haven't found it exactly, but this might be it if I can get the colors to show up on it. So stay tuned on that. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if this is how the colors show up on this, if you haven't already. I mean, you guys that have been stitching longer than me have known about Fabrics by Stephanie way longer than I am. So you may have already stitched a whole bunch. And if you have and you say, oh yeah, that's good for that, let me know. The last one I wanted to show you was a freebie. And it was along the pumpkin lines again. I have to do my iPad one more time because it's a freebie. There's no cover picture. This is from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. I'll link it down below. She has a blog and she has some adorable, adorable things on the blog. Whoops. And this was a freebie that she did. It's called, I think it's Crow Creek Salt Box, maybe? Super, super cute. If you go, I'll link, I don't know if I'll link this post. Maybe I'll link this post, but then if you just go to the main home page, she has a lot of different freebies, or just to the side where she, lists freebies. She has quite a few, and she has quite a few for, I didn't go way far back, but she has quite a few for Halloween or for autumn, and I have seen some Christmas ones as well. So if you are looking for a free piece and you like autumn stitching, this is one to check out. And if you want to join my Sal, there are, let's see if I can show you. There are pumpkins at the bottom of the house. So it is legit. Hashtag pumpkinbirthdaysal. Sorry, I was awful close to the camera there. I just get so excited. And that's it for shopping. I actually don't even think I have anything coming. Surprised, I know. Like I said, I wanted to get a couple of those flosses from 123 Stitch, and I haven't gotten the beads for this yet. So maybe I can get them there, right? I'm assuming I can. So I'm gonna pick up the beads for that as well. And we'll see what's there. You never know what's there. All right, last thing to do, giveaways. Now we have some old business and some new business. This, I can't seem to give this one away. So this is Prim Village. Now this is a D-stash. This is one that I had started and I chose to not continue it. I kind of UFO'd it. I put it in the unfinished object pile, and if I decide to ever finish it, I don't need the pattern because it's a repeating pattern and I can figure it out. So I wanted to pass it on to somebody else who might want to stitch it, and it includes, it includes a charm and the chart. And I'm now on my second person that I've chosen, and I give everybody 2 weeks. So I gotta look to see to make sure I say it right. Lynn Lone Star Stitcher. Lynn Lone Star Stitcher, you have 1 more week to contact me about this pattern. And if you do not, then next video, I will choose a winner. And you can contact me either, if you notice down below, I have a Gmail address. I also have an Instagram account, Paper Laura. Yes, I made it before I was stitching again, so it encompasses a whole bunch of stuff. Feel free to DM me there, your address as well. That's fine. But one place or the other, or somehow get a hold of me. If you, I suppose if you did a lot of research, you could figure out how to get a hold of me on Etsy, but that doesn't, it's a lot easier just to do it one of the 2 ways I gave you. So this way I can get this out to you. All right, so that, 1 more week on that. If I don't hear by, presumably if I'm taping next Friday morning, if I don't hear for right before I tape, I will pick a new name. All right, now, this week's winner. A lot of you want Boo to You, And it's cute. I could see why you would. So this is this week's winner. We had a lot of pie answers. And I think pumpkin pie is now something that people either really like or really don't like. I don't think there's a lot of middle ground. But there's a lot of other types of pies that you all eat that sound delicious. So thank you so much for playing along. And I actually liked how I added, you know, where you had to say the boo. So this way some people who just didn't want to do the giveaway could still be part of it. And I could get your answers too. All right, so the winner for this boo to you is, who is it? Sally Fowler. So Sally, as I mentioned with the Prim Villages, please get a hold of me either through my Gmail down below or Instagram. And I'm going to put your name right in the container so that I don't lose it and I know who the winner is. If you could get a hold of me within the next week or two, well, 2 definitely. If it's after that, sorry. But moving on. Got to keep this stuff moving out of here. So Sally, if you could get a hold of me, that would be fantastic, and I will send that out to you. I do have a giveaway for this week. Now we are firmly sliding into October, so all of October we're having giveaways. I do have one that's actually sponsored later on, a few weeks down the road, but most of them so far are just from little old me as a thank you to you. This one is a small one because I wanted it's a pattern. I figured it's the end of the month now. I did the bigger patterns so that I could get them to you if you got back to me, and really give you all of the month. But this is a small one. It's an older one, so a lot of you may already have it. But it's Jolly Jack. I have this pattern myself as well. I think I might just stitch it without the words potentially. I'm gonna do it without the words and then decide whether or not I like, not that I don't like the words, but whether or not I like it as is without adding the words. And we'll see size-wise what it looks like and what I want to do with it. So we're still, and I'll come up with some stuff maybe besides pumpkin questions, because you know you're gonna get tired of pumpkin questions. I know some of you don't like pumpkin at all, and so if you don't like pumpkin at all, just say I don't like pumpkin at all as your answer to the question. But my question is, we've covered pumpkin pie. We actually ourselves have a really good pumpkin soup recipe, and there are some other types of pumpkin that I'd like to try. We've used squash in chilies before. I don't know if you can use pumpkin. Probably, they're the same family. But if you cook with pumpkin, and it can be sweet, it can be savory, what is your go-to? And we're not doing pie, so we're going away from pie. Somebody says, I'm doing wouldn't that be fun if we did like a pumpkin potluck? I wish you all could come visit me. We were doing a pumpkin potluck, and the pie is covered. So what would you bring? Now, if you have a go-to, or if not, what do you think would sound good to you that you'd want to bring? And if you're like, I don't like pumpkin, so I'll bring you XYZ instead, I'm cool with that. So answer the question and say the word Jack. So we're doing a pumpkin potluck. What would you bring? And again, if you don't like pumpkin, tell me something else you'd bring. Just say I don't like pumpkin, I'd bring blah, 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 Jack. And then you're entered. If you want to answer the question and not enter, just don't say the word Jack. And that's it. So I will pick a winner at the next video for this one. And then we're going to move away from charts and have some other fun giveaways as well too. And that's the stitchy part. I just have a couple of life things to talk about. Shamrock and Megan, thank you so much for those of you with the support. So Shamrock had another incident. Yesterday morning, Mo came in and he's like, Shamrock's bleeding. And he was bleeding from his shoulder. We looked at it and it didn't look like he hadn't done anything. He'd done his stuff outside and come in, but there was almost like a hole, an opening on his shoulder. So we called the vet, and so they had him come in yesterday. And apparently, when there's rabbits running around, there is a specific sort of parasite that likes rabbits. And when they can't get into a rabbit, every once in a while, and she said it's very rare, of course, poor Shamrock happened to be one of the rare cases, they will try to lodge themselves into cats and dogs. And that's what they did with him. And they burrow underneath the skin, and then they cause inflammation and some other fun stuff. So somehow the thing had opened, because I guess sometimes whatever they, I don't know if they actually lay eggs or what, it comes out. But she said, I need to dig around in there. If there's something there, I need to take it out. So he needed anesthesia, and he needed a little bit of outpatient surgery, I guess you'd call it. He does have a stitch, but she said everything looks good, and she said it shouldn't happen again. So I was really feeling bad about the hawks getting the rabbits. Maybe not so much now, because there still are a rabbit. Every once in a while you'll see a rabbit or two that have eluded the hawks. But he's got this, it looks like a onesie. It's a really tight shirt onesie thing on him so that he can't get at his shoulder. So he looks really cute walking around in it. But he has to keep that on for at least a week or two so that he doesn't rip out his stitches. And in the meantime, she looked at his knee, and yes, he had slightly subluxed his patella, which he had done before. And she thinks he may have slightly stretched out one of his cruciate ligaments. But again, besides just saying, try to keep him quiet, there's not a lot we can do. We'll do our best to keep him quiet, but he's a dog and he likes to run around, and he's really loving it now, because she did give him some painkillers for here, and she's like, it'll help his knee too. So I'm like, great, now he's gonna be feeling good. You know, it's like when your kids were sick, when they were really sick, you hated them being really sick, but they would rest because they didn't feel like doing anything. It was when they were still sick but starting to feel better that was the hardest thing to keep them rested, because now they wanted to get up and run around. So but anyway, we're trying to keep him quiet and calm, so that just means stitching, and he can lay by me while I'm stitching. In regards to Megan, thank you so much for everybody who did send out support. Things got a little worse before they finally did get better at the middle of the week. She it was tough. It was really, really tough, but she's learned two things out of all of this. That one, she is one tough cookie, and she believes in herself, and she will stand up for herself even against adults. And I completely support her. She was in the right, and those adults were in the wrong. And I am very, very proud of that. And she can be very proud of herself, knowing that going forward, she'll be able to take care of herself. Secondly, you never wish hard times or difficult times on somebody, but what you do find out is who really, really, really is your friend and who's in your corner. And so she found who is really her friend, and she has gotten a lot closer to those true friends. And now she knows who can be much more of an acquaintance, and I can't rely on you. So again, it was a learning lesson, a very difficult, stressful learning lesson for her, but we're through it. We're moving on, and she is, just gonna keep going and take the world by the reins and just keep going. So I am so thankful to you, all of you who reached out about that. I just want to let you know that yes, we've finally got a resolution, and parents didn't have to get involved, which is always a good thing. And now we're moving on. So yeah, other than that, not a huge celebration for our anniversary today. Like I said, we might go hang out at Elizabeth Park, enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weather. It warmed up again after it got cold and frosty for a few days. Yes, we actually turned the heat on. I know I'm not ashamed of that, because I was freezing all day, every day for several days. And other than that, we have counters in the house, and they poured the concrete for the driveway in the front little walk area, and I assume the sidewalk area as well. So things are still moving along there. And I think floor, we're waiting. Next is the flooring. I guess the flooring is one of the last things they do, obviously, so that it doesn't get scratched. So I'm excited to see what it'll look like when it's down, because it's one thing to just kind of pick from pictures and Zoom calls and everything else, but when it's actually in person, it should be really exciting. So that's just more of that. And I'm just getting ready to head into October and my birthday sal and my celebrations with all of you. And I'm so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you, my Stitchy friends. I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. And we will celebrate October together. And we might be virtual, but we can still have fun. So thank you so much. Until next time, happy stitching.